Okay, I know that this is probably going to get me into some hot water with the SEO community, but it's time, that somebody kind of said this. You really got to stop optimizing for search engines. You know, Essentially, I'm telling you that you really should stop obsessing about keywords, tinkering with your copy over and over, trying to like improve it that tiny bit that you think, make you think that it's going to jump up in rankings or something in Google, scrounging for backlinks and spending all the time to do that. And just start creating useful content that actually answers the searcher's intent. So not only are you going to do better, have a better outcome in Google, but you're also going to save a ton of time. So in this video, I kind of just want to go over that. Like, why would I come out and say something like, stop optimizing for search engines? Now, obviously, I don't mean completely, but more like over focusing on optimization is a big problem. And really, it's just pretty straightforward. You need to answer the reader's intent. So I'm going to go over that and what intent is and how, if you don't pay attention, you might actually harm your SEO efforts. And just obsess over intent, optimize later, and you're going to have a fantastic article that can rank in Google. So it's pretty straightforward, actually. I mean, when you stop and think about it, what is the reason that you're even writing your article to begin with? You're probably targeting some reason. It just kind of isn't something you're just sitting down and I just want to write today and just write whatever you want and just come up with something out of the blue for no good reason, right? You're writing for something. So all you have to do is create that content that just really directly and thoroughly answers the reason that reader is even on your article to begin with. Just using your knowledge and experiences and whatever that you can do to make it unique for you, how you would answer their question or their problem, whatever it is, whatever their intent is, the reason that they're going there. So why do we just sort of overthink this? Like, why do we throw just common sense out the window and strive to eke every last ounce of SEO optimization out of our articles instead of spending our time somewhere else? I'm not really sure. Maybe it's all the other SEOs that are online, throwing around their advice or anecdotal evidence that shows that more words equals higher rankings and things like that. Whatever the cause is, really what you need to do is focus on intent. But what is search intent? You keep hearing that probably thrown around, and you're probably thinking, okay, intent. It sounds like a reason or something like that, kind of. And that's kind of what it is. Really, intent is, what does that person expect to find when they type in their search term in Google and they click the top results? Like if they're searching for solving a problem or finding an answer to their question, they want that. They don't want some long-winded paragraph that is just a whole bunch of extra content just because, something like 2,000 words ranks better, just if you can give the reader everything they need in 500 to 800 words, then don't write 2,000 words just because you can. Not only does it waste your time, but it wastes the reader's time too. And actually, you do cause a little bit of a chance that you might be actually harming your SEO doing that. And what I mean by that is, let's just say that when your article is nice, short, to the point. I shouldn't say short because it doesn't necessarily mean that your article is just 500 words every time or something. But short meaning it's just enough to give the reader exactly everything that they need to thoroughly answer the reason that they're even there on your article to begin with. And that's it. Not a whole bunch of extra just because you can. And what that will do in Google's eyes is your page will look very focused for that specific term that you're targeting, which is usually based around something that that reader is going to type into Google, and so you want to be one of the first results that appear there. And then if you continue to add a whole bunch of extra stuff to your article, thinking that you're optimizing, you might actually accidentally over optimize, or more like water down. You know, you might actually kind of water down your content to the point where instead of your article appearing in Google for one specific sharp term, you might actually water it down so that your Google doesn't really know if you're three or four or five different terms, and you're not the best of all of them simultaneously. That's pretty rare, and so you kind of end up with an article that Google sees as decent for several terms, but not really have a good, strong primary focus, and therefore your article doesn't end up ranking for the term that you're actually targeting. So don't get bogged down in all the SEO stuff. Just make sure, at first at least, that you're writing your article specifically for a person and how you're going to solve their problem. Obsess over it. Be that best resource that for that reader. If they search Google and they land on your page and they get everything they need, you're doing a good job. Like, flip it around for a moment. Like, let's just say that you go to Google and you search for how to patch broken tree limbs. You don't want to find a whole bunch of extra stuff. You want to find how to patch broken tree limbs. You don't need wood grain and molecular makeup or how to store firewood. Maybe you do want to know those things, but not when you search the term how to patch broken tree limbs. So stop optimizing so much. Think about the reason that you're actually writing that content and take care of your reader. That'll be step number one, or the very first thing you should focus on, and then you can optimize later carefully. So, and I do mean optimize some, like really just some. Don't go overboard to where you accidentally introduce a whole bunch of extra content that ends up watering down or diluting your article and then hurting your rankings. So I just say, why don't you just use phrase, if you have it, to just simplify the SEO process. It really is one of those rare tools that does save you a ton of time, because, like, if you don't already know, Phrase will go out and do a bunch of research for you so that you know your topic better, so that you can write a better article. But it will also do content gap analysis and competition analysis, so you can plug your content in to Phrase again after you've written it, and it'll kind of show you the topical words that you're missing compared to the competition that's already ranking in the top 20. And then you just kind of massage your article a little bit using some of those keywords that you're obviously missing, that Phrase tells you you're missing, and that Google expects. Don't overdo it. Of course, you're going to try for 100% topic score inside of Phrase, but there's a lot of times you just can't. It's just there's too many sort of words and things that Phrase has found that you just can't massage it into your article without kind of disrupting the intent, how you're trying to solve the reader's problem. So don't try, just use Phrase to make it a little better. The every little bit kind of counts kind of thing, right? And just go from there. There's some other things you can do to really improve the SEO of your article too. And they're not really things that are sort of direct, content things. One of the things you could do is have, if your article is something that's kind of directly answering a question, you could have like a too long didn't read type of paragraph, or sometimes they're called like snippet optimization, or answer targets, things like that. Just a paragraph at the top of your article that just very directly answers the question right up front. And then have like a table of contents or something that hints that there's more down the page, a more thorough explanation of all the things of that answer that you just gave them in that first paragraph. Maybe you could create a video, kind of like what you're watching right now, and embed it near the top of your article so that when a reader comes to your page, they stay on the page longer if they click the video to watch it. And what that'll do is it'll signal to Google that, well, they must have found what they wanted, because they didn't bounce back to Google right away to look for a different result. So that's a good indication. You should make your content really easy to skim, because you want people to find things in your content, but they're not necessarily in a hurry, but they don't know what's on your page to begin with, right? Not necessarily. And if they can skim quickly, they might find things or see what they kind of wanted quickly, and that's just a better experience for them, and likely means that they might stay around longer anyways, even though they're skimming, and they might even find somewhere to click to go to another page and increase your page views and things like that. You'll definitely want to use imagery where it makes sense, or other things like data and statistics inside of tables and lists and stuff. Use citations and link to third-party content, because that'll signal to Google that you're not trying to pretend like you're the know-it-all for everything, and that you have sort of vetted this other service or this other site for information similar to what you're trying to share here. And also, of course, you need to link inside of your own site to other articles and stuff that you've written for internal, SEO purposes. You want the Google bots and sort of their spiders, their crawlers, to be able to kind of find different things and relate content to each other really well. And that's where things like content silos and stuff like that come into play. But you can learn a lot more about that in the perfect article checklist I have linked here. And let's just wrap this up. I just want to say that, if you're trying to work fast and you're trying to get a lot done, and maybe you're a solo founder, you're just a one-man team or one-person team, sorry. This should be music to your ears, right? You don't want to focus all kinds of time on things that don't directly impact your business. Like if you're a blogger or something, if there's a day that goes by that you're not hitting publish, then you might be falling behind, or you're not getting as much progress as you want. And so if you're spending a whole ton of time optimizing for SEO, or over optimizing, I should say, then there's a chance that this process, instead of caring about Google or SEO at all until after you've already written everything that's perfect for your reader, you're going to save a ton of time, and 80% of the battle will be done if you're focusing on your reader. Google will catch on to that. You're essentially doing SEO optimization by making sure that your article is the one that Google should be showing to the reader, because it really is the one that answers that question the best, or answers their intent the best. And then you can spend that last 20% or so of your time, using phrase to do some touch up in SEO, but don't try to go too far. And, just don't overthink it. Work faster, achieve better results, right? That's it for this video. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the dojo, and I will keep sharing more. If you could head over to aicontentdojo.com and subscribe by email, I will send you notifications when there's new guides and new information for you to learn from and improve your workflows and have better content creation success. Until next time, take care.